Well, here we are. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the All Portable Discussion Zone. It's a bi-weekly live stream all about radio portable ops. And my name is Charlie. November Juliet 7 Victor is my call sign. And with me this evening are the show's co-hosts, Dan, KC7MSU, and Brian, W7JET. And I'm also pleased to introduce to you tonight's guest, Don W1FYG.
Good evening, everybody.
He's a very active Parks on the Air activator and chaser. And of course, as always, we have our regular characters in the chat room. Welcome to everybody in there, and we're happy you all could join us this evening. And we have a great lineup tonight. We're going to be talking all about POTA, Parks on the Air, something that I'm going to be trying out here pretty soon. Of course, if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave those in the chat. I and Dan and Brian will be checking those periodically and bringing them up into the discussion. So with that, let's get going around the room. Brian, what you been up to the last couple of weeks?
Well, I am finally getting back into the swing of things at work. I spent last week, which is why I missed the group discussion last Sunday in the box, which is the simulator, getting requalified to be able to go fly the plane again, and just ham radio stuff. I'm actually today was working on it with the rest of the 160 to fuel my obsession for those bands. It looks like my internet connection has gone unstable. That's very exciting. There it is. It's back. All right, back over to you, Charlie.
All right, Dan, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so just been working on a couple projects around the house, run some new cable and things like that in the ham shack, as well as getting my honeydew list pared down so I can get out to a SOTA hopefully this coming up Saturday morning.
Yeah, and then there's me. Over the last week or so, I have been kind of getting all my gear ready, my backpacking gear ready. This coming Thursday evening, Sandy and I are going to be leaving town and leaving the house to the rest of the family and heading over to the Grand Canyon to do a 3-day backpacking trip. And so that'll be down Hermit's Rest. Well, it'll be a little bit warm when we go down there, but that's kind of what we've been doing. Been hitting REI and Amazon and other places, making sure we have kind of updating our gear a little bit. It's some of the gear we have is 15 years old, so we're trying to update some of it a little bit. That's kind of what we've been doing. I did an activation too on what was it, Friday out at Casa Grande. Did a little 2-pointer. So that's it for me. Don, what have you been doing?
Nothing.
Okay.
Well, the first thing is when you come on this great channel, because you learn so much, and for whether you're into SOTA or just the whole portable, aspect of it. As a ham radio operator, man, I gotta tell you something, Charlie, and between you, Dan, and Brian, you guys have really hit a home run. I say that very sincerely. You didn't pay me to say that, but it is amazing between the three of us and your guests along, again, it's another excellent YouTube show where it helps me become a better operator also. Yeah. My biggest thing is of course, what t-shirt to put on tonight and that, right? So go to Jason, quick shameless plug, go to the Grapevine website, get yourself a Red Summit t-shirt along with some other great t-shirts. But yeah, busy at work. I have, for those who don't know, I'm in public safety, so I have a couple of various jobs to do. But when I'm not, it's all ham radio. I don't collect stamps. I don't play chess. I'm not a painter. I'm a ham radio operator nerd, and proud of it. So here in Connecticut, the warmer temperatures are starting to break now. We're now in the 40s and the 50s a little bit, and we've had some nice 60s, and it's a teaser. So, I mean, I know last night I was on the back porch. I configured an antenna differently. I ran a switch box so I can sit on the back porch with the ICOM 705. I was chasing the CQ sideband guys last night. I was chasing Last Man Standing. Heard a lot of those stations out. I heard California. I just could not reach back to them because it just seemed like 1 kilohertz away or a couple kilohertz away was Brazil was coming in like crazy last night. And I haven't worked Brazil like that since the last or 2 or 3 solar cycles before, back when I was just playing on 10 meters. It was fun to work the Brazilians and everything. So, and very, very, very polite and took their time. So, and I'm just running QRP. So, it was fun. I've got always something going on. And that's, again, our great hobby,
Appreciate it, Don. Hey, appreciate the compliment, and I don't know, it is a fun show, and I'm glad you're out getting on the air, and we know that for those of you who are watching who don't know, Don is really active and a really high end participant of the Parks on the Air. That's why we got him on, because he really knows his stuff.
Hey, Charlie.
Yeah.
Something's here. It looks like a notepad or something is up. There's a big white block.
Yeah, I took it down.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sorry.
So no problem. So, Don, you're the what do you call it? The share screen is available at any point if you want to get going with that. Let's hop into it and let's see what you got for us.
Well, let me just say this. There are so many awesome POTA kings and queens out there. We all know their call signs. I'm just I had sort of a slower start this year because of COVID. My work shift changed. I'm on a rotational schedule that rotates throughout the year all the time. It's always rotating. Thank God for Google Calendar, and we bid our shifts. But I've been blessed to watch work. I've had some great POTA mentors, and once again, that comes to the hobby of whatever you're going to do, whether it's FT8, satellite, POTA, just getting into the hobby with just your first radio, whether it's going to be a 2-meter portable. You got to get a mentor, and once again, I was blessed as a young kid having my grandfather around me. I have my grandfather's original call sign from 1933. And this was these were the guys who built everything, had a 9-volt battery, had a crystal, worked around the neighborhood, worked around the country, got involved with their back then it wasn't really areas, it was all races, and they did a lot of emergency work in between the wars. And just again, I've been very, very blessed. Now YouTube seems to be my mentor, but POTA was something that really excited me because I was getting bored in the hobby. I'm probably around 29, 30 years now as licensed. I got licensed in 1989, went automatically to VHF and 10 meters. And then through the progression, between life, between jobs, marriages, all those normal things in life happen to you. I always stayed active, but I was I always wanted more from HF. And I remember after my grandfather passing away, it just became very weird for me because there was really nothing going on. I think we were down on the solar cycle, and I just felt like I didn't know what to do. And I had just purchased an ICOM 7300. It was just sitting there gathering dust and didn't have the right antenna, didn't have the right feed line. I was like, if everything bad could happen, it was just like, I had it configured the wrong way. And I really wasn't paying attention to the fundamentals of what we have to do in the hobby. So again, some people reached out to me, and I will be forever, in debt to them. And that's why I thoroughly enjoy giving back now. It's very, very important to give back in the hobby. So I originally started wanting to do SOTA, believe it or not. And then I started doing my homework. I said, wait a minute, I'm not going to be able to do some of the things, especially now after what I've seen, between you guys and, Tech Runner and Adam K6ARK and so many other Craig, Christian Claiborne, all these great SOTA. You guys are the SOTA gods, but I take back what you guys are doing and I kind of bring it down to my level, not only to what I understand, but how can I interface it into my POTA. So let me see. Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
And can you see my shack picture? Just want to make sure we're all good here.
Yep.
Okay. So again, my whole thing was I had to get my shack set up. To me, like that's Thank you. That's downstairs. I used to be in the bedroom for 10 years. And finally my wife said, listen, especially like when we bought the house, she's like, listen, you got an unfinished basement downstairs. Go play. So I think she wanted her bedroom and back, that little corner that I was, sitting at, and just started fooling around. And I said, I want 2 monitors, and I got to have my map. And you could see up in the picture there, that's my grandfather from 1947, operating. And it's just, I think with everything is always evolving. This shack will probably change for me probably in another year or so, along with some other things you're going to see from me. I'm one of these guys who it's always a revision. A revision is always, I don't think we can actually stay. Today, this is an older picture where just about 3 weeks ago, I moved some of these radios around already. But I started getting that going. I bought the DX Commander. I found Cal on YouTube. I always wanted a vertical. I used to have the Kush Crafts. I wanted something different. I wanted something that I can just install. But then I said, maybe I want to put something out in the field, take it with me. Go to my in-laws' house, go to a park, go down to the beach, go do something. And that was really, all of a sudden, POTA was being thrown at me along with SOTA. And I'm trying to distinguish the two of, what do they mean? How do you do it? What are the rules? And luckily being a hunter is really the best, because you can really learn so much about those two categories within our hobby, as well as enhance your operating skills, learn how how are you going to do it at the house.
So as a hunter, that's the POTA terminology for somebody that it's equivalent to the chaser in POTA then.
Correct.
Okay,
yep. So
I got that. I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
so
okay. And as a chaser, you just operate. I don't have to. As a hunter, I don't have to submit any logs. I keep I still keep a personal log. I still keep a very a written hand, almost like a diary, and I make notes in it and everything. And it's just something that I learned again from my grandfather when I was 8, 9 years old, sitting in his shack.
Yeah. So
and everything.
So Joseph wants to know if you can go full screen on the photos. I don't know if you'll gain much by it, but if you can, if not, don't worry about it.
I don't think I can for how I'm doing this.
That's fine. Go ahead.
So, and this is a different antenna. This antenna was given to me by an individual. He became a silent key. He bought it. He really didn't know what he was doing with it. I went over his house. I helped him set it up, and then about a month before he had passed away, he said to me, "Here, take the antenna. You go have fun with it. I'm really not into it." And I was like, "I can't do this. This is a very expensive antenna." But it is fantastic for somebody. This is the TW antenna. DX Engineering now has the rights to it. But at the time, when I got it, TW antenna, an individual, I believe down in Florida, had designed it, had got it manufactured. And this is a fantastic antenna. Matter of fact, you'll see here in a second, this was the first antenna I ever went out to a POTA park and used. No wires. No, this is even before the DX Commander days. And I just started fooling around with, in my backyard, just fooling around with I'll call it field radio. Okay. And I started to figure out how am I going to do it, power wise, radio wise, feed line? How long does it take me to set up? What are the band conditions? And then all of a sudden, when I got involved with Parks on the Air, when I went to their website and I found their spotting page, that's when the bug started biting, because nothing more. I mean, it's fun to take the VFO and just spin the dial, and and it's fun to go to like DX Watch or some of the other DX spotting pages. But POTA was something very detailed. You're going to find that guy, you're going to be able to hear him, and you're going to be able to work them, or at least from my point that I saw it, and it just became fun. So this was pre 7300 days. I had this 706 Mark II-G, and that came with this year. This year came with the TW antenna, and I always had an LDG tuner. I go way back with the LDG people. My first Go box was back in the 90s when I was a food salesman, and I just went to Office Max Staples, one of those plastic file boxes, and put everything inside there. And I was operating it, and then I didn't have enough room again. So now we go to revision 2. I went to Home Depot, I think it was. I bought the big toolbox and started building things into that. So my brain is always going of how am I going to carry it, operate it from, pack it up, and put it. You know, I mean, you got to keep it simple because you don't want to make it too heavy. But this was just me just operating on the back porch again. Pre POTA days, I was using I think I was using a generator, a Honda EU generator, a small little generator. And then again, here comes another revision because I'm big into DMR here in the Connecticut, and just wanted to start fooling around. But this really bothered me. I wanted to get away from a power supply. So again, how are you going to do it? And started looking at different battery options because I didn't want to do the deep cycle batteries, and I don't know. Then I just redesigned the box again. But one of the things, so obviously in this picture here, you'll see this is a Bioenno battery here. There's a 40 ampere hour Bioenno battery. Bioenno does a great, they have part of their website, if they still have it, has nice calculation. So you can figure out how much power you're going to run for how long. Obviously, if you're going to be doing FT8, FM, CW, your draw is going to be much more versus sideband. I kind of do things bigger, and I don't know if I have a little bit of Texas blood into me, but everything I do is bigger. It's also because of my emergency stuff where everything has got to be a redundancy. So
is this the kind of the setup you use now then? The most part?
Yeah, I kind of evolved. So once again, I evolved, and I'll tell you a little bit more about this antenna, and then, but my whole thing, guys, is I got to figure out how am I going to do this, and I was still hunting at the time. How am I going to do this? And because I said I need to approach just like this. I don't want to become an activator at first. I just want to become a hunter. I don't want to do this uploading of logs and this software, and I felt that initially it was going to take away from my part of just having fun, because all I wanted to do was operate. I'm the guy who used to set up field day for my club, set it up, walk away, make sure everybody else had like an hour on the radio. I was the guy who would not hit field day radio to about Saturday night, 10, 11, 2 o'clock in the morning. I was that guy. I just wanted to, I was part of that building construction team, and then just step back, relax, go take a nap, go get something to eat, and let everyone. And then when things start to die down a little bit, I'll pull like a third shift and just go at it and just keep on going.
Yeah, me and Brian and Dan, all three of us, we love field day, huh?
Oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
and there is definitely something. Go ahead, Brian.
No, go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
It's a lot of fun to we do the same thing. We'll get everything set up and things, and it is a lot of fun to watch other people operate. And seeing that enjoyment of operating on field day. So I definitely hear what you're saying about it.
I think between POTA and SOTA, it is your personal little field day every single time you go out. Think about it. Yep. And I mean this as no disrespect, but you don't have to answer anybody. You're going to do it for as long as you want. You're going to do it how you want it. You're going to choose your own antenna. You're going to, everything about it from start to finish. It's all about you, not in a selfish way, but in a very rewarding way. And to me, that's where more of my interest. SOTA is like me watching you guys. It's like me watching James Bond. I'll never be James Bond because I'm going to cut the wrong wire. Okay. But it's always that wonderful, I think I can do it, but let me just stay a little bit in my comfort zone. But you'll see me talking about it in a little bit, how I'm getting ready to step out of my comfort zone. So to me, POTA was really more where me as my time element of how much time I can give it, I can give back to POTA. How am I going to do it? The pieces all started falling, coming together really, really fast. It was kind of scared in a way. I remember, again, my first activation, man, I was nervous. I'm like double checking this.
You're talking about your first actual activation. No more.
Yeah,
hunting.
Man, I was scared. So nervous, and I like to talk and have fun. But man, let me tell you something. I was so nervous. I'm like, I think I was mumbling.
Wow.
Hey. I think I was mumbling because I'm like, wait a minute, I could do this. I've listened. I've been the hunter. What's the difference? The only difference was all of a sudden now I created this pileup. And everybody is everyone. I'm like, hang on. It's like the deli counter. Hang on. I'm going to get to everybody. I promise I'm going to work everybody. But
the first time it happens though, it's like, oh geez, what do I do now?
What do I do now? and there's nobody next to me helping me saying, okay, yes, that was MSU who just called you. Say the MSU station, go ahead. It's all about you. So you've got to create your own. How are you going to do it? Luckily for me, being a 911 dispatcher, where we have to multitask, whether we're on the phones or whether we're sitting in a position where we're just speaking with the police or fire, and it gets very, very busy. You have no choice. You have to learn how to multitask.
Yeah. So I have a question here, real quick, Don. But before I do, let's. I think Brian had another comment, didn't you?
I was going to say two things. One, it's funny you said that about field day. Whenever anybody asks me about SOTA, I say it's the field day that never ends. Right. Every single time you're going out, you're operating field day, and it's the most unique experience. And frankly, it's for me, it's one of the more enjoyable things next to working a weak signal on one of the low bands. But the other thing I was going to comment on, having a public safety background as well, you know how to run a pile up if you're a dispatcher in a busy city. When I was on doing EMS, I had about a year where I was on light duty because I had a pretty significant injury on the job, and they threw me up in the dispatch center and work in the citywide position in Newark between 5 o'clock at night and 8 o'clock at night, which is like some of the busiest time. We were processing easily 100 calls an hour, and right. the citywide position can get really, really busy. You got 15, 20 units on that channel. Everybody's calling all at once. It's free MDT. So when you work a pile up, it just comes real natural because when you're running that citywide position, you're the one in charge, not them. You're telling them what they need to do.
Telling them where to go.
It's the other way around. You're getting for them and you're servicing them, but you're the one that's running the show. If you're not running the show, it turns into a mess really fast.
Right. And the few people who I have trained or have augmented some of their training to give them a different perspective. Again, it's all about listening. I find women are much better listeners. I mean, for those of us who are married, my wife will tell you a story that I told her 15 years ago, almost to the T. Or if I say something that I shouldn't have said 15 or 5 minutes ago that I just totally blocked out or whatever. But yeah, and it is. Again, radio has always been a love of mine, even from the days when I was younger, just listening to shortwave and listening to the baseball games on the on the local AM, or when the band conditions would come up, and like here in the Northeast, when the Orioles would come in from the Maryland area, and being able to to hear that signal and taking that zip cord and around my bedroom and reorient it. Again, those are the things that will stick with you forever of, going back to our basics.
So the question I had for you, Don, was, I just want to make sure I was clear in understanding something you said a few minutes ago. And that is, you said that as a hunter, a POTA hunter, you don't have to do anything. And so if that's true, that means that everything is on the shoulders of the activator. Is that right? If the activator, absolutely, the activator enters, keeps the log, and then he submits the log, and then that's how the hunters actually get credit.
Yes. So the hunters just sit there and wait, and until those logs are processed, which could be 2 weeks, it could be 4 weeks, because again, everything is all volunteers. And again, from a hunting perspective, you could be in an HOA. You could be a guy who just wants to go operate in your car. You're still a hunter. That's all you're doing. You are chasing. You are chasing that station. So whether you're operating from your house, whether you're operating from your backyard, again, last night, my first contact on my QRP was a guy in South Carolina. I literally set up everything, turn on the radio. I went to the POTA spotting page, saw him, tuned up. Can't hear him. I'm like, I'm not going to hear him. Maybe I can't hear him. It's horrible. All of a sudden, he just came in. He was talking to somebody else.
And it's all sideband, right?
It's all sideband. Yeah, I am. I'm not a CW guy. My grandfather's probably rolling around in the grave, because he was a big CW. I mean, he was one of these 40 plus words per minute guys, who collected words and sentences in his head. That's how he learned CW. He went back to World War II teaching it.
What do you think the makeup is of CW versus sideband on POTA?
I don't have the exact number. I'm going to say 50-50, because it is nice watching the spotting page. Some of the people that I have the opportunity of working on a regular basis will be on the CW portion, but then all of a sudden, then they jump up to a sideband to enhance their logs and any certificates that they're chasing. I do see some FM stuff every once in a while, including me. Every once in a while, we don't have a lot of 2-meter 146.52 activity here in the state. I'm still disappointed. I still keep it in my rig when I'm driving to and from work or whatever. It's always scanning. You would think here on the shoreline area in the summertime with more seasonal travelers, you may hear more truck drivers. It's very, very limited. It's a very small crowd as compared to other parts. Again, I'm jealous of you guys when you guys get up to the mountain and you're working, 23 centimeters and you're working 6'5", 5'2". I don't have a lot of contacts. I do have a couple on 6 meters though. So, which is just kind of like, go figure. How did that happen? You know what I mean? But for me, my band is 40. I am a big 40. I have learned so much about that band. And still learning and still learning, but 40 meters. And then I like 17 meters. To me, I was always told 17 meters is like the gentleman's band. I do see that. That is a really nice band. I don't have a lot of 15-meter contacts, but I love listening to. So I'm very excited that I have this opportunity now of playing with POTA, having a good station from the house. Now being in solar cycle 25, I can't wait to really. I've never had the opportunity of 20 meters being open for 20 to 24 hours around the clock. I mean, I have visions of me getting up, hitting the road at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, go hit a park, and being on 20 at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, my time. Yeah, right now I have to do that on 40, but all the veterans say, just wait, be patient. It's going to happen.
Interesting. In the chat room, Don, we're talking. Let's chat a little bit about the breakup between, or not breakup, but the how many people are doing sideband versus CW, and the comment is from several people that there's digital. Have you done digital? No,
I'm one of those guys. I sandbag. I've been watching all these the YouTubers and all these FT8 offs, the friendly competitions. And I really enjoy it. Hasn't really bitten me yet. It might. I never say never, including CW. I just and I'm a kid who was very involved with music. I taught myself how to play the guitar. I played the piano back in middle school. I played trumpet. Between marching band, jazz band, love jazz, and some people say, well, that doesn't make sense, Don. You should be doing CW like it's nothing. I tell everybody, no, CW puts me asleep. When I can't sleep, man, I'll just throw on some Morse code, man. Even some train, I don't know what, what I mean? And it just relaxes me. Next thing I know, I start nodding.
So that's what I understand is everybody who's very musically inclined take to CW very easily, as
I'm the exception.
People like me.
But again, CW guys are my heroes. Whether you're up in the mountain or whether you're in the shack or whether you're driving and you got the paddle, on your leg, and you're just, however you're doing your CW, man. Again, I have a lot of heroes in this hobby, and even though I may not get to those certain milestones, I'm just creating my own. I'm creating my own at my pace and what I want to do. For me, for POTA, I'm not going after the certificates. I don't care whether, what happens, but I love participating. And if I could do it, that's great. I don't really make too many hardcore goals with it, but if I can get a certificate because I'm doing something in a certain category, yeah, fine, good. But I will always promote it, itself. And cool. if you don't get a certificate, it doesn't mean the end of the world either.
Yeah. So, Don, believe it or not, we're already 30 minutes in. So how many more slides do you got? So we make sure we get everything in.
I'll go fast. Some I may say. I forgot how many numbers. I think maybe about 10, maybe about 10 more, maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Some I can go longer.
That's fine. We want to make sure that Brian, he might have a comment. Do you have one, Brian?
I was just going to comment real quick. I got the POTA spots up right now, and there's 2 sideband active, an FT8 active, and a CW active.
There you go.
The CW looks like it's on, let's see, the FT8's on 20, the CW is on 20, and then there's a phone on 40 and a phone on 20 right now.
Which would kind of make sense because again, how the season, it's kind of seasonal in a weird way, but POTA has over the last 12 to 16 months, so many more people are getting involved with it. I do see people will be going into jumpstarting themselves right into SOTA, POTA, whatever, or just whatever. Again, just the activity alone, I'm sure COVID-19 had something to do with some of this because I don't, I personally feel our hobby was not really affected. Maybe club meetings are, or were, and continue to be. Conventions, yes, the Hamfest, but as far as operating itself, absolutely not. Unless you're a guy who wants to operate around other people all the time. Me, a lot of times, I just want to be left alone. I mean, my brain is tired. I've been at work. I've dealt with some really horrific stuff. I just need a balance. So ham radio has always provided me with a nice balance, and I'll always take the time at the parks.
Yeah.
To talk to people. I've met horses. I have met I have met horses. I have met some turkeys and some turkey vultures, dogs. I keep snacks in my pack with me all the time, and I always ask the owner first, can I, provide your four-legged friend with something? And but other than that, I just want to be left alone. Just leave me alone and just kind of let me go in the zone. Mike K8 MRD and I were talking one time, and he said it. You get into that zone, and maybe you guys do as far as a SOTA. You just, when they start calling you and the pile up gets going, even if it's a low end pile up, you just get in that zone and you just operate.
Yep, I felt that before as well too in SOTA, exactly. All right, Don. Well, let's get the rest of these slides going, and then we'll have a few more questions for you.
So real quickly, this was my first POTA activation. I brought the cinder block, so the antenna. This is a famous beach in our area. It's I have a kilo. Kilo means when you make 1,000 contacts or more at a particular location. I am blessed. There's a lot of parks in the state of Connecticut. There's a lot of parks near me. I got 2 literally in my town. A couple more 10 minutes away. So this was just me again, my first time just fooling around and being very, very nervous, but very, I had to have my park bench. I had to figure out where I wanted to do it. Now it's totally different. Now I'm more winging it now, even though I still do a little homework of where the park is. But when I get there, whatever it is whatever it is. So that just goes to show you, your level of comfort starts to rise the more you do it. And it's a good feeling. This is a park that I go to all the time. Matter of fact, I have a video coming out either next week or the week after. You'll see it posted on the Smoke Signals RF page. But this is my truck, and this is called the Eagle One antenna. It's just a very simple 12 gauge piece of wire inside that push-up mast that goes up. It's on the back of the hitch of the truck. And I could sit in the front seat and operate my Go box, or I can put it on the tailgate. If there was a park bench over here, a couple times I've actually sat on the hill here. Again, whatever is going on. So to me, mini SOTA at best, because you get away from the element. But yeah, I am using the truck as a to holding to being able to hold up the antenna. The antenna just pops in to the trailer hitch and grounded here. I don't have to use any ground wires, counterpoises, and it works. I've seen it all. This is a beautiful sunset. I've seen some incredible sunrises. I've seen some incredible sunsets. Again, I go back to the SOTA guys where I get jealous when you're up in the mountain at 5,000 feet in some of your views. But this is a typical view for me here in the Northeast, and beauty is beauty. You just take a step back. You're like, wow, I operate multiple seasons of the year. This was a hard winter though for me. This was just with everything going on in my personal life with work. It was hard for me to get out, but I like to operate all 4 seasons. So thus I dress for all 4 seasons, and whatever it takes. And just having fun. This wildlife refugee is literally 5 minutes from my house. I really have fun. This is a park called the Devil's Hop Yard. And this is a park that I found out has what's called this is a twofer, where there's two POTA parks actually in the same area. So depending on where you are, you're giving out double credit. When you post it on the POTA website, on the spotting page, guys get crazy, including me, because I love working twofers and threefers. It's, it's just a little bit more bragging rights. But every time we come here, there's an old story that you got to throw a penny in to pay the devil. So every time I come here, I make sure I always have a shiny penny with me, and I thank the devil for all the good contacts. It's kind of some local folklore superstition, but again, when you're sitting out off the back of the truck, and you're just and you take a break and you just look around and you're like, wow, this is absolutely I mean, we are blessed. And here in the state of Connecticut, all of our state parks are all free. Our entrance, they actually stopped that. It used to pay as you go, or you could buy the season pass. And then finally, a couple of years ago, they actually changed it, Dan, to where now it's just part of your motor vehicle taxes. So, and I take advantage of it. I take advantage of myself.
Wow, again, we need to get that here in Arizona.
For sure, we do.
Yeah. Again, here, this is a traditional. This is me, very relaxed, having a great time. Again, you can see, between the flip flops and the, of course, I keep some insect repellent with me, the suntan lotion. I've learned to carry a quick, pop up umbrella to give me some shade. I run a little fan sometimes. I found a lot of stuff through Amazon. I'm a big Amazon guy. So a lot of things, I actually found this battery operated 20-inch fan that a lot of musicians were actually using, because they would get on stage, they wouldn't have access to another AC plug or whatever. So I picked it up on a great deal, and I absolutely love it. It just, because my whole thing is just throw enough air to keep me cool, as well as keep the gnats away, just to keep, because I guess it screws up their flying mechanisms. And
for your vertical, and it looks like you've got a antenna tuner that would. So
Yep.
What are you using for your antenna and your tuner there?
Okay, so this right here. So this is the ICOM AH4. Okay, so what happens is 4-wire conductor, just a simple alarm wire, comes out, and it goes directly to the Molex connected to the back of the 7300. Okay. There's another port underneath the tuner that comes out, and that's just a piece of. It's actually it's kind of over there. It's the gray wire, and that's just RG8. That's all it is. Okay.
Okay.
There's another small patch cable from the top of the tuner, connects right here. So this is really an end-fed quarter wave antenna design. Again, here's your mast that pops in to the into the bar here, which goes into the 2-inch receiver. And then this right here is really it's 41 inches. When it's collapsed, it goes up to 31 feet. So every few feet is just a push up, and you just tighten it. That's all you got to do. It goes up in 15 minutes. Again, I got a video coming out. You guys will see all this. I'll give you a bit of a teaser.
Great.
But again, very, very simple. Just a very, very simple setup. I don't want to get into. My whole thing is timing. Everything has to be done from a timing perspective. I'm very cautious of various parks. This is called Fort Griswold Battlefield. A lot of lives were lost, and I am very respectful of the dead and very sentimental. I like history. So this was a park that I wanted to operate, but I didn't want to operate in the battlefield area, because, like I said, 250, 300 years ago, a lot of guys lost their lives, including the commander who gave up to the British. And then the British lead officer took out his sword and killed him with it. And so it was a very solemn event that happened afterwards. But there used to be all cannons that were all laid out over here. They have now been taken down. I believe this house here held the gunpowder, and this was the cannonballs were actually heated in here. I think this is called a stone furnace.
Wow.
So again, the park was absolutely incredible. I love history, but like I said, when I got there, I'm like, how do I still be respectful of activating this park? This was another park separate from this one, but when the guys were saying, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm operating right next to a cannon." Yeah, I mean, when you can say that, and then all of a sudden, somehow, man, your pile up just increases because everybody wants to work you. So whatever, a lot of guys said you need to make that into a QSL car, but I mentioned before about the four-legged friends that I get. Again, horses always come. I don't know. The horses all want to come and see what the hell Don Izzo's doing. And I found out horses like Starlight Mints. So if you guys if you have the opportunity, SOTA, POTA guys, if you have a lot of horses in your area, if you come across them, keep some Starlight Mints. Again, always ask the rider for a permission, but they love Starlight Mints. It must be just a little bit of sugar for them, just to kind of get them. My highest park that I've done here in the state of Connecticut was a little over 1,000 feet, and that was fantastic. That was absolutely fantastic. I'm kind of afraid of heights. I have an equilibrium problem, so I have to be careful. But man, I had visions of just taking an antenna off of here and maybe running a small little Yagi but because you just look way into Massachusetts, into Vermont, New Hampshire from the north, but it was really a fun spot to activate. Low RF, it's a major tower site here for our public safety here in the state of Connecticut. And it was just really, again, a fun place just to operate and just spend the day.
Oh, wow. That's a great picture.
All right. Friend of mine, I got to give credit. I was actually at this park. This park is about 10 minutes from my house. Train trestle, Amtrak runs through there all the time. When the electric Amtrak train comes running through, the noise floor rises. As the train is approaching, maybe about a mile away, I guess it has to do with the electricity. And all of a sudden, the RF just goes crazy. And then as the train leaves in about 5 or 10 minutes, the noise floor drops. I was at this location in the summertime, and that's when the meteor was making its rounds. It's called late shift. Anything after 0000 Zulu time with POTA, you go what's called the late shift. And I really had fun working at some of these parks where it's safe, because not every park is actually safe to do this. And some parks get locked up. You can't go inside. But this is one of those where I was able to go. A lot of fishermen do some fishermen down here. So my friend Roger took this picture, and I asked him if I can use it, for me for my POTUS, to explain how when you're outside in the field, man, you're going to see it all. You're going to see wildlife. You're going to see people. You're going to. And I've just had the opportunity of being able to see the space shuttle.
Strange thing, Don. All of a sudden, your audio switched.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me see what happened.
I think that's gonna fix it. Maybe.
I should be good now.
Yep.
It's the same. It seems
Am I
like.
good now? It's the same. It seems like. Oh, what happened here?
I mean, we can still hear you, but then there's I'm echoing in the background when I talk.
Yeah, it's almost like you switched to a different microphone.
Yeah, hang on 1 second. Let me just do this.
So while you're doing that, there was a question. I don't know if you can answer a question and at the same time, while he's off doing that, there was a question. Well, not necessarily a question, but somebody in the chat said that it was a little difficult to upload logs. You have to submit them to a regional manager, and I haven't really done it yet, so I meant to ask about that too. But it seems like somebody else answered that question in the chat and said that they're working on it. It's not too bad. So
yeah,
cool.
they're working on an interface that you can upload your own data. So my understanding is it's supposed to be ready before summer. So hopefully that'll be the case.
Yeah, that's for me. That's probably the most time-consuming part of trying to do the POTUS stuff, is just getting the log formatted so that you can mail it off to the manager for the region.
Yeah. Looks like he dropped off to fix
like we
things,
lost-
but hopefully he hops back on. So while he's getting things fixed, one of the questions I wanted to ask him, and hopefully he hops back on and I can ask him. This trip to the Grand Canyon, obviously it's a park, and I kind of was asking around about how the best way to put out a alert. And I guess it's pretty easy. You go to the POTA website and put out an alert, and when you do, it basically they just kind of watch that. The hunters watch that, and then they also watch the I guess all the reflectors for the RBN reflectors if you're sending Morse code, and I guess that's how I'm going to be spotted.
Yeah. From past experience with it, if you put an alert up on the POTA watch page, so they have like the scheduled activations, it works just like SOTA. So if you're in there doing CW and you start calling CQ during the time period, it sucks it in via the RBN and does the post for you automatically.
Oh, nice.
Right? Are you sure? Right into the POTA.
Yeah. Just like SOTA. If you're doing CW, the sniffer will pick it up and throw it over as long as you've already got it posted. When I've posted on the POTA page, like co-posted or co-alerted for my SOTA activations that have fallen into, Coconino or whatever national forest I'm in, I've seen the post also pop up.
You sure somebody wasn't doing that manually though?
I think no, I don't think so. I think it actually picks it up, unless the way it was explained to me, as long as you're posted, it'll go there.
What do you think,
and
Don?
You could see, I'll say what's posted. So I'm looking right now at the CW post for 20 or for one of the bands. It actually says it came from the RBN gate.
Okay, so Don, it sounds like that's good news then. So if I'm, we were just talking, Don, about my trip down to the Grand Canyon. I put up an alert. So if I'm sending Morse code, the RBN's going to pick that up and automatically post my. I don't even have to worry about having somebody spot me.
Yes.
Nice.
And I apologize. We had we actually have some storms rolling through the area, so I lost. So like my UPS, it's a good thing my UPS picked up. It kept me alive, but I lost some things here. But yeah, just quickly looking. Yes, the RBN. I'm looking at Tom, Whiskey 8 Tango Alpha Mike. Tom's a great guy. Him and his wife Julie are big CW people. Great people. And yes, the RBN will automatically interface. That's something new that the POTA guys have done. Those spots will stay on those. If nobody modifies that spot, it's good for 30 minutes. So
what do you mean if nobody modifies it?
Well, for instance, right now, so I'm looking at the spotting page. There's a station W8STL. He's on 7.262. Okay, if he doesn't respot himself, if somebody doesn't respot him, it's always nice that again a lot of guys will respot you, and they may put a comment in there. Hey, he's got a big pile up, but hang in there, or hey, he's 5 and 7 to me in Florida. It helps other people understand, band conditions and other comments. Hey, he's working on a new one, ATNO, all-time new one. Hey, he needs 50 more for his kilo. And, stuff like that. Anytime you add something and respot somebody, the timer starts again for another 30 minutes.
Oh, nice.
I will tell everybody, do not assume if you're looking on that spotting page and you see somebody in like 18 minutes, 20 minutes, do not assume they're not there anymore. Listen, turn your VFO, go there, listen for them, because there's a good chance they could still just be there. Because I have found that out myself on a busy night. I was working a late shift again after 8 p.m. local. And the park ranger came up to me. He says, Hey, Izzo, I got to shut this place down at 10 o'clock. So you know what that means? By 9:45, I want you wrapped up and out of here because I want to go home. Nice guy and everything. But I said, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So, so let's do this since we only have 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Why don't we just give Dan and Brian an opportunity to ask any more questions that they have, and then I'll have a couple more, and then we'll wrap it up. How's that sound?
Sure. Whatever you guys want to do, sure.
Cool.
Good,
Brian, go ahead if you have anything.
Actually, I was going to throw it over to Dan because I was still formulating the question in my head. I think Dan's got
Okay,
one ready to
go ahead, Dan.
Okay. A comment first is I've noticed it seems like that the POTA activators do seem to run a longer activation than what we typically see in SOTA, which is really nice. But I was kind of curious, Don, if you combine up your activations like with an overnight camping in those same campgrounds as well, or do you pretty much though activate and then go home, or activate and then kind of head for another park?
I have not done any long durational. I haven't done anything probably more than 6 to 7 hours, except for Winter Field Day. Winter Field Day was the first time where I bought one of those Eskimo ice huts that the fishermen use, and I'm having fun with it. I bought something that's not meant for ham radio, but other than that, I'm not. I don't. We don't have camping. The kids are still at this age right now where they're kind of doing their thing. I don't know if we're ever going to have that opportunity. I've always wanted to, whether I drive it or whether I pull it. I want to be able to pull over, get to the campsite, and sit up. And then, of course, what do you think I'm going to do? Set up the antenna, right? Haven't done it yet though, Dan. But it is fun when you strategically say, I want to hit 3-4 parks in a day. What? And again, you got to kind of back it down to say, okay, well, what time are you going to get up? You got to take care. How fast can you get there? Driving safely. And the whole series of the setup. That's why I have chosen my various antennas to be quick setups. I've done a lot of POTA stuff with a dipole, a SOTA beams. They take a little bit longer to set up. So if I'm only going to do one park, if I don't want to operate off a vertical, yeah, I'm going to try a different antenna. Again, I'm all about experimenting.
Right, Brian, how about you? Anything?
So I was going to ask you, what's one of the parks you really want to do that's in that area that you haven't made it to yet because of distance, time, or because of accessibility recently?
That's a tough one. Well, you know what they did? I'm not sure if you guys in SOTA have this issue. We went from 70 parks to 110, then they went to 133. So I've got 76 parks in the state of Connecticut logged in, and I was getting like, yes, I'm almost at 100%. And then a whole bunch of parks got, which is good. It actually is. It actually is good. There's actually a couple, Brian, that I want to do that are along the Appalachian Trail. And I did one, but I want to get out of the parking lot, and I want to go on the trail. I really want to take that 705 with an end-fed half wave. I also have a 6 ampere hour bioenno battery. Again, as far as weight, guys, again, I watch you guys, man. I watch you guys, and I watch you guys pack your packs. And I know you guys like to watch your weight because it's, you got to be careful about what you're bringing in. I mean, I've seen Charlie and many others, you guys going over thorns and, and pricker bushes and cactus. And I mean, obviously we don't have the cactus, but still we get those areas that, hey, wait a minute, if I got to go put that antenna up, I mean, how am I going to get into that area to get it strung out? And, the poison ivy, we all have those issues.
See,
so I got to be careful.
That brings me to one of the questions I was going to ask you. And that is for SOTA, primarily we're QRP, 5 watts or less, maybe 10 watts sometimes. For POTA, that's not typically the case, is it?
It's everybody. I have worked everybody. I have worked the mobiles.
I mean, power. As far as your
power wise, I love listening to I love working the QRP guys. I love it when a station. And it happened with me last night to the guy who I was working in South Carolina. Now he was an activator. I was the hunter. He was running 100 watts. When he found out I was running QRP, he dropped his power down halfway. I told him, "Now you're 5 and 8." He went down to 5 watts. You're now 5 and 5. I love it when guys either I'm on both sides of the fence, whether I'm a hunter or whether I'm an activator.
Yeah, so that's
I have activated on 5 watts. It's a lot harder. Yeah, it's a lot harder, and patience.
That's what I was going to ask is what do you think the typical, what percentage of people do 5 watts to activate versus 100 watts? You think
smaller percentage, but I like doing it. I've actually done it from 4 locations in my successful activations,
Mhm.
only because I knew the noise floor at that park was so low,
Yeah.
or hardly their existence, where you have to almost like pinch yourself to say, "Oh my God, is everything working?" Because you're not used to having such a quiet noise floor, and you could hear the ability to be able to hear other stations. It's just it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling without having to really strain to actually hear. Um, you know,
Yeah. Okay.
it's the fun of
So if somebody wanted to get into like me, this is going to be really my first. I don't know, maybe probably pretty much my first POTA activation here in the Grand Canyon. So steps, I have the gear ready to go because I already do SOTA.
right.
I've put an alert out on the website.
Hmm.
I talked to a couple of people saying, hey, if my spot doesn't go out and you see me on the RBN network, please post for me and get the alert the spot out for me. Um, then basically I think I'm gonna use Hamlog in my phone to log everything, and then when I get back home, I have to what do I do from there? I mean, you have to submit the log
Let's
somehow.
let me just quickly back up. As far as you spotting yourself is always a great promotional value to get people to start working you, especially if you don't have self service. They run a great Slack app where you can post yourself. You can go into Facebook and promote yourself. That's another great way. And say in the comments, if you hear me on the radio, limited cell coverage or no cell coverage, please spot me, and they will. The Facebook group page is absolutely fantastic. I've a fantastic group of guys, all gentlemen and ladies. The other thing is just through your web browser on your phone, you can actually go into and get yourself done. When you're done, it's an ADI file that goes to your regional coordinator. The most important thing that I tell everybody before you ask me questions about POTA, go to their website. It is so well documented of how to get online and I'm sorry, how to get yourself interested in this part of the hobby as a hunter versus an activator. And then there's so many great YouTube videos that are out there. And I'm going to have one of the POTA representatives coming up for Memorial Day weekend, part of the Ham Radio YouTubers Ham Fest coming up. I'm actually going to be doing a presentation, having one of the POTA guys. Again, just reiterating a lot of stuff to some of the veterans, but for the new people who want to get on board, this is going to be a nice way of really understanding the steps of getting involved with the whole thing called POTA, Parks on the Air.
Okay, so you're saying that you have a video coming out in the YouTubers Hamfest coming up that's gonna kind of help people who are new.
Yep, we're going to be live. We're gonna have a live presentation from one of the POTA representatives. He has a great PowerPoint that he's going to walk through. But I promise you, it will not be death through PowerPoint. He doesn't. He uses it very as a supplement to what he's doing. I've seen him do it before. He does a great job. And then the following day, I'm going to be actually going to be setting up like a POTA station in my backyard. So I'll be live with that.
Okay, so just for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, YouTubers Hamfest, there's a group of guys on YouTube. We loosely call ourselves a YouTube group. There's a part of the group is YouTubers Bunch, and part of us are just kind of not YouTubers Bunch, but in kind of a group together. We all have made sort of a collaboration to together promote the hobby through YouTube. And this is the second year in a row now where we will be having this group that I'm talking about will be hosting a YouTubers Hamfest. That's May 28th through May 30th, and it's just going to be from the start from Friday, I think in the afternoon sometime, all the way till that evening, and then all day Saturday and all day Sunday until about 6 or 7 o'clock. This is Arizona time, so multiple different vendors will be on and presentations. So you'll hear more about that. But I thought I'd just go ahead and announce it now since we were talking about it. Don, tell us about your YouTube page, and then I'll wrap things up.
Real quickly, Smoke Signals RF. I'm on YouTube doing various videos about stuff. Again, as the warm season gets in, you're going to see a whole lot more POTA. But anything field radio, anything to do with food and cigars associated with, I'm a big cigar guy. I love a good smoke. And also one quick plug again, on Tuesday nights we started the Ham Radio Clubhouse. So I expect us on Ham Radio Clubhouse again. Join the YouTube channel, join the Twitter channel. You'll see the announcements, and as we get rolling with more ideas, you're going to see us talking about POTA, the SOTA, and all the things that go along with it, and for this great hobby that we have.
Cool. All right, Don, thank you so much for coming on
Thank
board.
you.
We really appreciate.
Sorry about the storms here.
Hey,
I'm
it's
like,
all
what
right.
happened?
We got some good
Gotta be
information
flexible.
out there. No problem.
Ham radio, you gotta be flexible.
That's right. So we'll be catching everybody, all you guys who are watching. We'll catch you in 2 weeks. We have Ariel and what is it? What is his call sign? NY4G. He has a antenna we want to talk about, and a few other things. So in 2 weeks we'll have him on. Until then, we'll catch you guys later. Say adios, everybody, and we'll catch you on the next one. Make sure you check out the podcast version of this. We have a podcast audio of this show on every show we have now. So 73 to you guys.
73. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, everybody.
73, guys.